Well, what's going on, guys? Yeah, a few more seconds. I maybe jump on my bug-ridden pot. I can't say bug-ridden pot. Stove that has too many infernal crawlies all over it. I got straps all over the place. Hello, this is the Weaver Agency of Roseman, California. Well, at times I do it as zombie, or else I do the Diary of the Griever named John Weaver. But one thing I hadn't done is a grimace. The Grimace of Roseman 2024. And it seems like my own siblings of the Grimace has been grinching people left and right. I heard about the continuing resolution crash and burned, or just about, trying to get Senate and Democratic representative approval to get this continuing resolution. It's got the usual earmarks in it of trying to get our country funded until March. But apparently, Grinch and his goons are trying to torpedo it and make sure the government goes into default just before Christmas. If that wasn't bad enough. If that wasn't bad enough, we're getting into Amazon doing the situation over here. Now, as a union man, I can understand what they're trying to accomplish here and what they had an issue with. But the problem is, at Christmas, when you get people depending upon things, not just Christmas materials that we would want to scatter about, wrap up, put as packages around. No, I'm talking about necessities. I'm talking about incidentals. I'm talking about things that we depend upon, like regular food, bulk packages that may be slightly cheaper than going over to a local store. My situation here. I got about 15 miles away from Costco with no transportation to get to and from, no membership to get to that place, and about almost 20 miles to get to a nearby Winco to do the same for that. And sorry, listen to that. Or even go to a food for less. I gotta depend upon the kindness of strangers concerning about my deliveries, and that means Amazon. Amazon has been very good concerning about certain packages and certain items I need on a constant basis. You ever taken care of a dog before? An elderly dog that cannot see or hear. So, how can you get any control over the dog except by a leash? And if she wants to go to the bathroom, she can't go to the door to let me know about it. She'll just do it on the floor. So, for the past several months, almost for a full year, I've been depending upon Amazon for packages of blue chucks. Ah, there goes the pot. I'm going to leave this on and let you have some little unorthodox atmosphere. Confounded bugs! Boil you alive one way or another, you little freakazoids. If I don't get myself boiled alive first, I hurt. I normally don't step out of the camera unless I hit it on pause. And if I do, it's usually on a tape. I don't do lives all that much. So I don't know what the etiquette and protocols are for this thing. So I'm like on it. And yes, I am wearing a happy holiday hat without the lights on. I'll do that when it gets closer to Christmas or Christmas Eve, but it should be on. The stroke of a controller's here. Wonderful thing about battery operated. Just keep replacing the batteries and not worrying about a power outage. Except when the batteries go out, then you're really in for it. These things, these lights, the decorations, Amazon throughout the years. Very good customer to these guys. I had a few Christmas trees from Amazon. Some of the decorations from different places, but Amazon. When one depends upon a major corporation for delivery and for entertainment, there's a lot of expectations that the audience has. But as a worker a long time ago, basically a union man, many decades ago, now this I understand about what they're going through. I understand the feeling completely. I sympathize with the workers. And yes, they should unionize. They should. They should also demonstrate the willingness of what they're doing and the earnestness. They're putting in the hours. They're trying to get the paychecks. And this time of season, every paycheck counts. Her activities are needed these days more and more. Bezos had this operation going on to counteract the brick and mortars. And it was a good ploy. But it did shut down the brick and mortars. So now we're dependent upon logistical centers and manpower and some robot power, if I'm not mistaken, to help get the packages organized. And then you have the human drivers to deliver them all over the place, depending upon you still get the merchandise in stock. But it's the human element that we were worried about because human elements can fail. Well, so can mechanics. They're not properly, you know, maintained very well. But currently we have the human factor, and the human factor needs to be understood that they require a few things. And I'm hoping management won't turn this into a Grinch miss instead of a holiday season for people to enjoy. I'm not quite sure how the hell they're going to do that. I hate strikes like anybody else, but I understand the reason why for the strikes. Now, as for a Grinch hitting people left and right and laughing his head off, can we call the Republican Party or the Trumplican Party of this current administration going in to fester and indoctrinate and change everything into a roach fest? I'm sorry, these roaches must be coming from them because they act like them. They think they own the place. They think they rent the place. They're squatters. And no matter how many times we keep trying to chemically induce these guys or sand trap them. But the thing is, the human cockroaches, the Republican Party, from the executive all the way down. Everybody needs too much of them. They want without producing. The current resolution that came out that was supposed to be funding the government, I believe it was called, let me see if I can get in. They didn't put it with a number on it. They got the House bill, but they didn't have the number on it because it wasn't approved. But it was just something for them to have a conniption fit over. And the bill that the Republican Party originally did a bipartisan, and then with the whim of Donald Trump, they killed it. There was an omnibus bill in there that was going to be repairing a bridge that had got injured. Well, bridge got destroyed actually because of a not cruise ship, a cargo ship rammed right into it. Stopped trade for a long while. It millions, costed millions, almost into the billions now. And they need to get that bridge fixed. They need to get the waterway cleared up enough, but they still need to get the bridge fixed. We need to have commerce going on. Congress can't get off its dead ass to do that shit. What about the farmers these days who are still struggling? We've got climatic changes happening at this point over here. We've got corporate changes happening in our food supplies. Not to mention we got biological infestations happening. They're driving us crazy. You ever heard about the severe bird flu? Yeah. It's changing our egg prices left and right, so I'm not quite sure if the conglomerate opens, if the conglomerate that controls the egg producers and the chickens and stuff, are they going to be affected by the bird flu or are they going to be taking advantage of it? Disaster relief. It contained money for disaster relief. Oh, I'm sorry. Disaster relief doesn't count for Congress. I mean, no, no, no. Congress cannot do anything for the American public except take money from them. That's what it is. We could have another disaster, but we won't have the money for it because there's no funding for it. You got this Doge squad wants to take money from everywhere, put it into their pockets. They're flaunting that all over the place. They say it's going to help the American people. There's going to be pain. There's going to be pinching. I remember what happened back in 2016, and people keep forgetting about this one here. Back in 2016, for one particular 2 year period, just before midterms, nothing got done. Nothing. Executive orders, maybe, to tear apart previous bills or previous laws that were in effect, or trying to neutralize them as best as one Trump could. Departments had to be bled out. We didn't get anything done. There was a lot of anger, a lot of shooting. Oh, but there's fine people in between you and the gun and anybody else shooting at you. There's all fine people. We just get to shoot you. That's about it. That was the general idea. That was the general consensus, isn't it? During that time, back in 2016 through 2018. And then the midterms come, and then we had things trying to be balanced, but it was still nothing done. Except we got into worst deficit ever, trillions, because there was tax cuts. So now they're going to be doing it again, more tax cuts. I was watching a video, and it was kind of a short, kind of upset me a little bit because there was this one particular logic that was thrown at me that we owe billions to China, but the problem is we can't pay it back. The interest that we keep paying to them, well, they own us. There was a short somewhere on YouTube I was watching on that one where a financial figure was telling us about that one. And that really made me depressed as hell. Because as much money as we try to throw into the defense, I think more of the money in the defense is going to paying off our interest rates. We have a hell of a financial mess. So the only thing I can say is enjoy your Christmas for right now. We got Grinch working left and right, trying to cause more hell in a handbasket here. I'm supposed to be celebrating Christmas. I'm supposed to be happy and joyous about the damn thing. I'm not. I'm really not. Oh, Mr. Ian, morning. It's too darn early in the morning for me, but down there somewhere it ain't. How you doing, pal? So yeah, I'm watching all this stuff happening and people having conniption fits. We're going to go through another shutdown threat. We've had them. We've had the threats for a while. People want to shut down the government just to punish people. The problem is they're punishing the workers. Do you guys not understand that the people who work for the government are also voters? U.S. voters. And the thing of it is, they don't care. The Doge Squad, made up of two billionaire nut jobs, one tried to get into the presidency and couldn't even do that. But he'll be an efficiency expert in being a multi-billionaire. And the other one, who's got to be the top dog of the billionaires, never been poor before in his life. What information I researched on him, and the guy keeps launching up to space junk, and not to mention the taxi service we have for the International Space Station until the space station gets DQ'd. Then what do we got to do for space? Oh, I don't know. We deal with the space junk still up there. I'm not talking about the older satellites. I'm talking about the newer space junk for regarding satellites and owned by one guy and controlled by one guy. So how do you like that one? I'm not using it. I'm not utilizing it. Not to mention there was this communication multimedia platform that used to be called Twitter. Anybody remember that name, Twitter? With a little bird going tweet, 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 tweet. This particular platform had a lot of people talking stuff on it. But we did have people trying to, yeah, I know, being police about it. It's a private company. I tried to say some things on my videos in my own channel about this damn thing. Yeah, I know now it's X in the end. Problem is, they want to keep it free and open, which means anything and everything goes out of a mouth, including if garbage goes in, garbage is definitely being dumped out. And if not the one side of the body, maybe the other side of the body, and it still becomes like, oh, it's supposed to be news, it's supposed to be factual, it's supposed to be, yeah, it's like clean up your shorts on that one there, pal. And the problem is politics. That's the nature of the beast that we have for human beings in order to control, to put laws, rules, regulations, something to govern our lives with. This is what happens. Democracy is a messy thing, quite literally. It's not a quote, it's my own idea. And it should have been a quote coming out of Aristotle, but he knew it. He wrote a lot of information about it. I really wish I got to get that material and read it. I understand Internet Archive still has it, and so does Project Gutenberg. I got to get into those and download them one more time. They're EBTs, but if they had just the PDFs, I could just locate it, read it, and just try to get into the meat of it. Because democracy is one of those government forms that's the easiest thing to corrupt, but it's supposed to have been the better way of governing people left and right. But it depends upon cooperation. Just how cooperative are we supposed to be if we don't like the other guy. And the problem is, if we have a majority versus a minority, well, this is how it works, almost like a bully pulpit. But in a democracy, it's supposed to give the minority enough to let them express themselves to say, this is our opinion, this is the common grounds. Can you not see it? Okay, well, we're the majority, we see it. Maybe we can compromise. But if not, we say so, deal with it until next term. That's what's that's what we deal with on a constant basis. People keep changing the rules. They keep changing the rules around democracy. What they how they view it, how they want to run it. Sometimes it's a bully pulpit, and sometimes it's an actual government that works. We have yet to have a very prosperous time in the United States of America when it comes down for our government system. We haven't had a chance where everything is copacetic and we have no issues. I have yet to see that in my lifetime or even read about that because we were so contentious about it, even when we started it up for the first time. We still had people pounding on tables and stuff trying to tell what their opinions are. And if we actually had a consensus, they got to deal with it because that's what they agreed to all the damn time. But there may be a few people that are saying, no, 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 I'm not going to deal with this. Okay, what's your contention? Well, I just wanted to say no, 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 no. Okay, you're heard. Bye. Next. We've even had shootings, but that was back in the 1700s, weren't they? These days we don't have it, thank God. No, we just had a riot a few years back, January 6th, to stop everything. That's about it. Other than that, other than that, it is something that we have. It is something that we needed, and it's something we're working with right now. It's what's called a great experiment. That's throughout the ages, anyway. It was also called the Great American Melting Pot, if I'm not mistaken. Not the Constitution, but I was just talking about America in general. But as I kept learning history throughout the courses I'd taken for the past decade and some change in community college, our teachers and instructors decades earlier didn't exactly put it into a format where I could say, yeah, we were totally screwed up. We made a lot of mistakes and things wrong, and now we got to deal with it. And that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with right now. It allows us to have a strike at a company and telling people that the wages aren't fair and the work conditions need to be changed. It allows us to argue about how much money you're going to be getting for relief or not. It controls the value of speech. And understanding that certain platforms now we depend upon a great deal and we think it's government funded when it's not. It's only private enterprise. Still looking for this. Why else would you put up a private media outpost? You want to get people to notice you and use your product, right? What do you want out of it? That's how it works. Capitalism. There had been some contentions a long time ago of having what they called a French term, I think, laissez-faire capitalism, where market rules everything. And that's what they're trying to do again for 2024, as they tried to do 2016, but it didn't work, did it? We got further and further into debt. But it's the only source of government we've got, and the only thing. This time of season, we're supposed to be kind and generous, theoretically. We're supposed to be one form or another form. Problem is, we need to cheer for our own sanity because we're not seeing it in reality. We had shootings again. We had one country invading another country just because of national defense, while another major country, which I will not mention about, even though my feet are on the soil of it, are supporting genocide and invasion. We support democracy in another country that's being invaded by a pseudo democratic country, but it's really, to me, is the same as they had, just changed the names on it. And I'm supposed to be finding of good cheer. Now, here's the thing on this one here. The world has already been insane a long time ago, Ian. That's the problem. But then again, we never declared our sanity anyway. As I keep going through the history courses and understanding bits and pieces of it, we never did have any quiet time. We have in a world naturally under strife by geologic forces, by nature forces, by how the world was created physically. And human beings just had to fight to survive on this planet when they were evolving. So were the beasts before them. So we never had a quiet time where we could actually enjoy peace and quiet. We create the fiction, we create the media, we create the illusions that yes, there is a time, there was a, if I dare to go copyright on this one, Barbie world. Shudder on that one. And if we actually had such a Barbie world, my God, I don't think humanity would be able to deal with it. I go on social media and I see all these people going nuts and going after each other, going, "Beep, beep, 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 beep. I don't like you. I don't like you. You did this. You did this. Rah!" Go figure on that one. I know it's gotten worse with the extremism, isn't it, Enan? People have given themselves permission to go ape. A polite word to say for insane. I'll go ape anyway. I'll be, if I happen to dare use the word and I'll scare the living crap out of people. If I happen to say the word racist, okay, I'm using the term ape. Now, what does ape mean? Ape is probably one particular terminology for a gorilla or similar creature, and how they seem to be going a little frustrated over things that they don't like. Equate that to human behavior and that terminology. Maybe I am a racist. I'm human. I value the human race. I don't value an ape. But actually, I do value animals. I just have a hard time not having, you know, not going to vegetarian at this point. I still like chicken. I still like steak, hamburger, pork. Can't stand fish. But I can understand the need for saving the planet one way or another. We just don't care at this point. Oh, I can hear all the elitism and scientific talk about it. They talk about we need to save the planet. Yeah, I know. We got changes happening. We think most of it we caused all the climatic changes, and that's why the evolution skills is wiping out livestock left and right, or life forms left and right. The question is, how come we haven't been wiped out yet? I'm waiting for that one. What would be our legacy? What's our legacy for this year? Extremism, insanity, fighting, insults, Behaviors that are not part of the social norm. Has anything changed? Nope. We're talking about we want a better world, but we're not building upon it as enough. I go to online church trying to seek if there's any peace of mind I can actually use and maybe use for the rest of the existence of that day. I get hooked up with a group of people that seem to be having the same issues I am. We all have people we care about, people that have already been stricken down and infected by other people or by medical conditions they can't even get taken care of. We have a preacher still pissed off on a lot of things, but he's trying to keep his cool with us because he knows we can also get pissed off about things. He also sees the injustice. I like what he says sometimes. I may disagree a few times, but that's all right. What I'm scared about sometimes, it's not living in this world that scares the hell out of me a lot. Because already I've come to accept it that people are nuts enough anyway. They're going to do what they're going to do. There's nothing I can do to change that particular format or change if I can. But if there is a possible choice, good. What's the legacy afterwards? And that's the thing concerning about the fear. It's the ego trip. What am I leaving behind that'll tell people what we've done? And every time I keep looking back at history, I probably would run into something similar to that effect when people were making the marks in the walls in different caves. What are they trying to tell the children and children's children and more of the generations after them? What about all the markings we've seen sketched into stone regarding how individual lives are, or even our books? We're trying to extend ourselves and tell people, yes, we had this happening over here, but maybe you can change it a bit. I think they were going through the same situation, the same insanity we were because everything was commonly accepted as normal. Normal. When it becomes normal of somebody walking into a school and shooting people just because they've got the anger issues and can't solve it one way or another except by taking lives, that's accepted as normal. Or by burning people's places down or businesses down left and right. Hearing the politicians slumping on their chest and telling us that we have to listen and abide by them because they say so. And while we start listening to it as common language or just everyday stuff, normalizing it. Or how about misconstruing about the social media platforms that we're still using, even this one right now? How about we do that one? We normalize it. We need them. But the problem is, do we? Were we better 20, 30, 40 years ago before the social media kicked in? No, because we still had wars. We still had the stuff happening on television. Let's see, the major one we had was back in the 60s, and we had the Falklands, a few other different countries. If I'm not mistaken, a 1990 invasion on that one. And if we had social media, I think we were developing social media during that time. It was nonstop with people chattering at each other left and right on it. But because we got the platforms right now, one of them is going to get probably disconnected because of the laws we've made on it, because we're afraid of another country trying to take over other people or whatever kind of idiocy they're thinking about at this time. Yeah, I don't have answers for people. That's the problem. If I was an absolute guru, maybe I'd be a hell of a lot better and smarter and more calmer about things, but I'm not. I'm watching this stuff. I'm observing like everybody else. I'm trying to figure out what's my next step right now. What am I going to do next? I don't know. You got an answer? I haven't got an answer. Your country is different than mine, Ian, but you're still having the same damn issues we are. You'll wake up in the morning and turn on the radio or the news and you're hearing everything else going hell in a handbasket. If that's not bad enough, you hear probably gunshots outside your window. Was that normalized? People kept thinking, it's not normal. I'm asking myself, was it normal? Was it ever normal? In our country, we normalized having a gun. We wanted our freedom to have a gun or a weapon, mostly a gun, because the other person's got a gun. I must have a gun. And because the other person's got a better gun, I need a bigger gun. And because they fired a gun, I have to fire my gun at them because I think they fired a gun at me. I call it protection. What? Once in a great while outside, sometimes at night. I understand the need to make noise against the critters coming towards the property, so fire off a few shots. That's one thing. But hearing stores, people's homes getting invaded, schools getting shot up. We got more guns per capita in our homes than anybody else anywhere else. That's what I keep hearing from the experts these days. Scary enough. Some people probably think I'm an elitist. I said so at one time or another. But the elitists also have an ego and an agenda. They want to be something. I'm not. Yeah, at least because I read a lot of books and I understand some things. I'm not hip on others. I go to community college. I buy grants. Does that make me elitist? A community college level instead of a university? I live in a bug infested environment, literally. I'm looking at the roofs just to make sure I'm not going to get rained upon. I live in an environment out here in Southern California. It changes its weather like crazy. Sometimes it's nice, and other times we're freezing our butts off or roasting them hours off. So this is what's happening. Now, is Friday going to be a better day if or when the budget gets passed? Hopefully. It may be chopped up like crazy, but unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with it because, as I said before in my other videos, and I hate dumping it on you guys, but you're the ones that did this to us. You voted in this Congress. You voted in the circus. Now we got to deal with it. I'm starting to hate circuses. I really am. Maybe as a kid, I saw the magic of a circus. The ringmaster trying to wrangle everything going on around him. Pointing you to this and pointing you to that. Look and look and look and look and look. Meanwhile, you got the clowns coming up in front of you and going, "Blah, blah, blah, blah." Sometimes you either want to laugh or hit them. I think the adults would have, and the kids would just laugh at the whole damn thing. Till the kids get older and they look at the damn circus. It's like, why did I take these kids over here in the first place? Oh yeah, I wanted to show them a show. And then I realized I was showing them Congress and our government system working. How's that grab you? What's going on, Ian? Well, sorry about that, pal. About the internet crashing. Uh, I'm surviving today, Ian. That's all I'm doing is just surviving. I don't know what it is to be feeling great or not these days. When I do my videos, I also talk in length at times about how I'm doing these days. Some of the videos I post is unlisted, where it's private for other people. And then I really get into it during that time. But as for me right now, I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. Last night, just to end this on a positive note, our town of Rosamond, California, and if you happen to go to a map application or Google Maps or whatever you're using, and you type out in the search engine of Rosamond, California, you'll see a nice, lovely community in there. Last night, well, actually, several hours ago, we actually had a Santa convoy come through. Yeah. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I missed the parade that we actually had down one of our streets. So the only time I'd get a shot of Santa passing by would be what we call the Santa Run. And the Santa Run is starts from west end of our town of Rosamond, California, and wiggles its way around till it gets to the freeway, and then wiggles its way around until nearly the last end, and we're tail end Charlie because it always ends in the shopping center over there. And it was nice to see some of the kids coming out and some of the adults whooping and hollering about it. Makes you feel good about it. She's up. She must be obeyed. As I put on the original videos out there, I had shown you what my dog is, but right now she's wondering where the hell I am this morning. So she must be obeyed, and I have to acquiesce to her needs. So, all right. And I'll talk to you later, dude. And everybody else, I'm not done yet. Much for tonight, yeah, but I'm planning on something. I had a notion of it. I think night before Christmas Eve would be better if I happen to do another live feed somehow. So I'll pass that information off to a lot of people, but I'll still do the videos left and right because you guys need to be bored to death. If you guys are already made sick to your stomach concerning about the independent media is going beep 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 at each other, complaining about the corporate media going beep 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 at each other, and everybody else, well, I guess my end will probably give you the barf bag anyway. But you already have your own, so what am I saying? You guys have a good night and take care out there. And what was it? Well, that's why I do the videos, dude. I share the weight. I tell them what's going on. And you're not alone either, pal. You're not. Me, on the other hand, I got a dog that still needs my attention, so I got to deal with she must be obeyed. Okay, video coming after this one.